What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sports Mixtape. I'm Jimmy. This is Brent. This is Brad. We got another good episode for you today. We're going to be listing our top 5 favorite 90s sitcoms. And looking back in the 90s, TV shows were a lot different then than they are today.
Very blue-collared.
Yeah, yes, for sure.
I feel like the 90s was a unique time. It was like the last of the pre-internet era. So, this was pre-streaming. Some of the things about these shows is the first thing, you could just jump in anywhere.
Yeah.
You didn't have to start the show from the beginning and follow it. It wasn't like, sure, there were some like cohesive plot lines throughout, but you could have any episode on at any time, jump right in, and still really enjoy no matter where you were. Which was the nice thing, because if you missed an episode, like, good luck. You just
exactly.
Let that one go.
But it was also a time you all sat down together, you watched a show, you knew exactly what time it was coming on. 90s sitcoms, which a sitcom is a situational comedy. That's what it stands for, usually with a recurring cast of characters, places, and situations. We all have our favorite sitcoms. But one of you guys want to start us off? I guess we'll start at number 5.
Yeah. Brent, go ahead.
Sure.
You look like you're chomping at the bit over there.
Number 5, I'm going to take Ray and Deborah Barone from Everybody Loves Raymond. It was such a classic show due to Ray's relationship with his family.
Yeah.
Where's Raymond?
His mom, dad, and brother Robert live across the street from him and his wife in Long Island, New York. And it makes for some real interesting interactions. You gotta love the dynamic. I feel like his mom and dad play that age group at that time period to a T. It reminds me of my grandparents.
They hated to love each other.
Yeah,
exactly. The back and forth.
The opening, I think it might have been the original opening where the credits are going and the parents are walking over. And Ray is like army crawling on the ground trying to avoid him as they're coming to his house. Just sets the tone for that show.
It's such a good show. And his brother's like, a police officer who's kind of like insecure and jealous of Ray.
Yeah, and he's like 7 foot
He's
tall.
huge.
Yeah, it's this big guy.
Brad Garrett.
Yes. Ray is a sports writer in the show, so there's an element of sports always present. And it's just like an everyday couple working through. And that's the thing. A lot of these shows, I think what made them so popular, they're incredibly relatable.
Family core.
Yeah. Family core. Most people could relate to some dynamic or aspects of like the mother-in-law, father-in-law, all the stuff that was going on in them. So I'll take Everybody Loves Raymond in number 5.
That's on my list.
I left it out of my top 5, but it's a tough one to leave out.
All right, Brad, you're number 5.
All right, let's take it to a little more younger crowd here and go with Saved by the Bell.
Oh, great choice.
This was iconic in our youth. Follows California high school, Bel Air High, the ins and outs of navigating high school. It's got a group of 6 friends, and you have every range of personality in all these friends.
Including Screech.
You got Zach. Zach's the handsome, charismatic,
class clown.
He's a scheme artist.
Yeah.
Then you got Kelly Kapowski.
Oh, everyone loved her.
Zach's main squeeze, the cheerleader, all-American girl.
Girl next door.
You got AC Slater.
He was
the
a
athlete,
jock.
The jacked rip Mario Lopez.
He was kind of corny on the show. He'd like do these dances and stuff, but when you were younger, you're like, I want to be a jock like that.
He was like a jock with a soft side too.
Yeah.
He had like a tenderness to him.
He grew up like tender-hearted.
He grew up rough when he was young. So,
those ripped acid wash jeans told the whole story. Then you had Jessie. She was the straight A.
Very type A.
Yeah, very type A. Lisa, the fashionista.
Yeah.
Screech's
the apple of his eye.
Apple of his eye. Screech, the nerd, the quirky nerd.
Yeah.
That Zach and Slater always looked out for.
Yeah.
Had him under their wings. But bunch of good storylines.
Mr. Belding, too.
Can't forget Principal Belding.
Principal Belding, yep. He cared a lot.
He did.
He was involved in everything they did.
Overwhelmed. Zach just overwhelmed the crap out of him.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the sitcom version of The Breakfast Club. You got your whole range of students and friends. It'd be The Breakfast Club after they went to detention and became friends.
You gotta check out too, like if you go back and watch reruns of this show, the fashion, the things that these kids, like you already mentioned, the acid jeans. It's so nostalgic to watch some of the neon
It's coming
colors.
back now.
Girls had the crimped hair, side ponytails.
The side ponies.
Very bright,
neon,
colorful.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting fact about the show. Mark Paul Gosselaar.
It's a French
I actually wrote notes today. Zach, he dated all three of his female co-stars on the show. And so did Slater. So it caused Mario Lopez and Zach there to get in a bunch of off-scene fights.
That's hilarious.
That production had to go and break up. But yeah, it was a good show to grow up on.
I love the show.
A lot of life lessons.
When I was younger, that show was definitely,
What would you say, we'll see if we all have the same one, is the most memorable episode from Saved by the Bell?
Maybe Jesse doing the caffeine pills.
Yeah.
So I was actually reading up on that. That was the one that I was reminded of the most. But it was supposed to be speed pills. And then production was like, yeah, that's a little too hard. To go on a more of a child or
makes it even funnier that it was caffeine pills.
These ones that were geared towards, that age group at the time, we were probably, elementary, middle school. It was like hidden lessons throughout. There was always like a teaching moment in some of these. And it was usually Principal Belding bringing it or delivering it to.
They followed it up with the college years, and they go off to college. Another couple good seasons out of it, but
I actually kind of like the college years. They actually had didn't they have one in like Hawaii where they worked at someone's dad's? That was Lyra Minnie from King Queens. That was in that. Her dad.
Yep.
Great show. Great show to grow up with.
Couple good spinoffs.
All right, my number 5. This is going to be the Drew Carey Show. And this is a little underrated, this show, in my opinion. But this show was hilarious. The characters in it. You had Mimi, who was the antagonist, who just wore globs of makeup that she looked like a clown. And she was always antagonizing Drew Carey. But they'd always just fire shots at each other. I don't think you'd be able to say some of this stuff now, but
no.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny. And the show was also pretty quirky. Like they had episodes where they spontaneously bust in these musical numbers.
Yeah.
Or do
it was a brilliant show.
Yeah, they do live episodes, and they do it twice. So they do an episode and then do it again, and you see how different it was.
What was the name of the improv show that Drew Carey?
Whose Line Is It Anyway? This show, Ryan Stiles, who had done the English version of Whose Line Is It Anyway, was on the show. He was hilarious on the Drew Carey Show. He actually introduced Drew Carey to that. Drew decided, why don't we bring it to America and you guys on the show could be on it. And that took off and was super famous.
I love Oswald. He's the best.
Oswald is great. And the opening song, Cleveland Rocks, that is done by the presidents of the United States of America.
Millions of
Peaches song.
Lump.
Yeah, Lump. Yeah, they were a great band.
Wow, I have not thought about that band.
How about the Buzz Beer, their little side gig?
Yeah,
they're trying to brew beer.
Yeah, this is
coffee and beer mix out of their garage.
Now this show wasn't necessarily some of these shows were taught. I wouldn't say it was quite life lessons each episode. It was more just the friends hanging out and their daily life and kind of what they went through. Injected with comedy, but I used to love this show. Came out in '95, but
even Craig Ferguson on this show.
Yeah, Craig Ferguson was the boss. He was hilarious.
It was a great lineup. They really mixed well together, all those actors.
Yeah, I mean, it was really just shot in 2 locations. It was Drew's office, where Mimi, Drew, and the boss were, and then at Drew's house, normally.
This was my number 4, so I got one more thing to say about it.
Yeah.
I won't talk about it for my pick, but on a live showing, during the beginning of this first season, they got outstanding numbers, rating numbers.
Yeah.
So the production bought Drew Carey a brand new Porsche 911. So he immediately went out in front of everyone on set and said, "Who has the worst car here?" Someone said, "Oh, I don't even have a car." So he threw him his keys to his old Mazda Miata. He didn't give him the Porsche.
Not that good of a guy.
But that's hilarious to do. Hey, everyone thought they would get a 911 Porsche.
Yeah.
Here's my Mazda Miata.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's funny.
All right. That was your number 4?
That was my number 4.
All right, Brent,
I loved that show.
My number 4, we're going to go with another one with a great in-law. I got to go King of Queens.
Yeah.
We talked about it when we talked about the Dads episode, but Doug and Carrie Heffernan, Kevin James, Leah Remini, working class couple living in Queens. He's like a delivery truck, almost like, it's not UPS, but similar to what a UPS driver is. IPS. And her father, Arthur Spooner, ends up moving into their basement after his house burns down. And he's just a total wild card.
This is going to be my number 4 as well, by the way.
He makes the show, Arthur. He's not afraid to speak his mind, to say the least. And it's a brilliant TV show.
Yeah, and like you said, this really focused on the working class, blue collar. They didn't romanticize it at all. It just is what it was. They worked hard. They didn't have money. Sometimes they did have money. They went through marital problems.
UPS driver, right?
IPS.
Yeah.
But yeah, they took place in Queens. His brother is actually on the show. He plays Danny, his real life brother, and Danny and what was the other friend's name? The little dude. Oh gosh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't even think of it. But they were so funny together. They would live together and just cause all sorts of hijinks. That was a whole nother part of the show. But
Patton Oswalt.
They were so funny.
And then Doug, and I can't remember his best friend who also is an IPS driver. They were always
Deacon.
Yeah, him and Deacon were always giving each other marital advice. Always trying to figure stuff out on the home front, which was a great part of the show. Yeah, this was another one, man. When Jimmy and I were living down in Atlanta together, this was just always on in the background. This was one you could just have on in the background playing.
You could put this show on today, any episode, and it's still hilarious. Just the stuff that goes on in the show. I would venture to say that Kevin James has not been as funny in anything he's done since the King of Queens. I mean, that's how good that was.
Yeah, it was a great. It was like a perfect role for him.
Role for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was my number 4 too.
That was my number 4 too.
You guys remember the episode? I can't remember who it was. It was Kevin or Doug and Arthur end up teaming up on it. But at first, I can't remember which one was which, but I think it was Doug was giving Carrie drinks because she would loosen up and be so nicer. And Arthur was really upset about it at first, and then he saw how nice she got, and he joined in. And every time she'd come, he had a drink cart.
Who wants martinis? Yeah, I mean once she found out, she was so pissed. But episodes that's why I say I hate to harp on that, but a lot of the stuff that you could get away with, which I don't even think is that bad, they just wouldn't even do that now in shows because,
Well, and these shows too, it wasn't hard to just pick up on an episode and not have to watch the entire series and still get something out of the episode. You didn't have to follow the timeline, even though they all did have a good storyline and timeline. But that one just reminded me of young marriage with no kids. and struggling to stay alive.
Yeah. I always thought they should have brought that show back. It kind of ended weird where they adopted a kid from China and then she realized she was pregnant and then that was it.
So they sent it back?
Yeah, that was the end of the show. But, yeah, classic. All right, that was your number 3?
Yeah, I had it kind of as a backup.
I'll go ahead and say my 3 because it's already been mentioned.
3.
I had Saved by the Bell for number 3. I think Brad nailed it. The only other thing I would say is like there were so many great scenes at the local diner where all the kids hung out after school. I think it was called The Max. The name of it. And yeah, it was just a lot of like adolescent issues, a lot of things that if you were a teen or a preteen, you could kind of relate to.
Yeah, they went down the list of everything, throughout the episodes that really a teenager could go through.
Yeah. And I feel like it was really good casting. Like each person they got to play the parts really kind of nailed their role. We had mentioned them all before, but it was a really good chemistry amongst the group. And this one's still relatable. My oldest watched, Saved by the Bell, a few years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I still, if it's on, and they still have reruns of all these shows, which if it's on, I'll definitely watch it.
Well, I had a couple backups, so I'll have another number 3.
Well, my number 3 is Everybody Loves Raymond. Yeah. We already talked about it, but this show is, growing up on Long Island, this show took place on Long Island. It was very relatable for me. And once again, it doesn't matter what episode you tune into, hilarious every episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and I think, you have it written down there and we forgot to say it, but his dad, Peter Boyle.
Yeah,
The best thing about him is how like deadpan he is when he says anything. There's like no break in character.
No, and I did write this down. I forgot but the director would let him. They'd have scenes set up, and the director would give him free reign and let him just come up with these one-liners on the spot. And he was always cracking the cast up, and they were the perfect one-liners or burns every time.
You can't rein in Young Frankenstein.
No, and that's why he's a classic guy. He's been in a lot of stuff before this. So, but yeah, 15 Primetime Emmy Awards, 70 Emmy nominations. This show was just a monster.
It was huge. It was huge when it was winning all those awards.
All right, what do we already in top 2?
I got a 3. I still have Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, yeah.
This one leaked over into the 2000s, I think. But, it's all about a story about how Will's life got turned upside down.
Yeah,
Moved out to Philly.
Fresh Prince was great. Another one, every episode had a life lesson in it. Yeah. It was one of those shows.
Right,
this one will show back up again.
Yep, about someone coming from nothing, getting a second chance at his uncle's ranch.
And Carlton.
I literally just watched the pilot last night to this show.
Oh, really?
So introduced.
He got Uncle Phil.
Yeah.
Dude, Carlton is the best on
Jeffrey.
the show.
The relationship between Will and Uncle Phil in this, like, it sums it up in the pilot episode last night. It's the first time Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv have seen Will in years, and Phil looks at him and he's like, "My, you have grown," and Will goes, "Yeah, you have too."
that is their relationship in a nutshell.
Great back and forth banter there, but another great one to grow up on because you had every age range of kid in that household.
And Will had
the dynamics between the older siblings and cousins with the younger ones, and
that was the thing. Will had a unique relationship with each person on the show, from Jeffrey to his aunt and uncle to the 3 different kids. And
even his relationship with Carlton. They always had these episodes where Will would have to stick up for Carlton at school and protect him. So so it wasn't always him clowning him, but I love that show.
All right, number 2. My number 2, I'm guessing it's probably going to be someone's number 1, but I got Seinfeld as number 2.
That is going to be my number 1.
Well, I'm not going to say too much about it then, but all I'll say is that I found it interesting. Kramer in this show is based on Larry David's real life neighbor. He had a neighbor that acted very much like Kramer. But I'll save that for you guys to put some shine on. It is an iconic show. The thing I think that I thought was so cool, how they, Jerry Seinfeld is a stand-up comedian, how they worked his stand-up comedy into each episode at the beginning and the end. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Seinfeld classic. Me, you, two?
It don't matter.
All right, my number two. I'll go number two. This is going to be Friends. I don't know if you guys have that on your list.
Now, it's an honorable mention.
Yeah.
Now, when it came out, I was a little young, but kind of when I became a teenager, I started realizing how funny this show was, and I thought the funniest character was Ross, and he's just such a goofball in there. But it's about 6 friends, everyday life in New York City. Took place in Monica's apartment and the coffee shop, Central Park. This had like 1 million guest stars on here, famous actors and actresses. This just dealt with day-to-day life and obviously the love triangles they were all involved in.
This like launched Jennifer Aniston's career. I would say she was probably the most successful.
It launched all their careers.
She was the most successful, I would say, post Friends.
And this show was kind of like the show when it came out. It kind of influenced all these other shows of that nature that you saw come out, all kind of took what they did and started using that same concept to make their shows, and it worked. But famous, everyone knows the theme song "I'll Be There for You" by the Rembrandts. That skyrocketed to number 1 during the whole time that show was out.
I'm pretty sure in the 90s it was, I don't remember the order, but it was one of them at 7, one of them at 7:30, Seinfeld and Friends. These were the two these were the water cooler TV shows. For what you talked about at school.
Friends was so huge. By the last couple episodes, every main character on the show is making $1 million per episode.
Yeah.
That's how big the show was.
Well, it's different than it was now. Like Prestige TV kind of came up with the streaming services. Back then, movies were way more prominent or influential than TV shows. So for them to be making that kind of money was pretty impressive. I think the reason it didn't make my list was because how young I was, like you had mentioned at the beginning, how young I was at the time. I just really wasn't into it.
Yeah, it became more of a thing,
reruns later on.
Yeah, like people in my family, my sister watched it, and then I would start watching it, and it was just, I realized it was pretty goofy of a show. Like the guy characters were all goofballs on that show.
David Schwimmer.
David Schwimmer, who plays Ross, is just
that launched Matthew Perry too.
Yeah, Matthew Perry, Joey. I think that's just a classic '90s sitcom to me.
Lisa Kudrow, right? Did she play Phoebe?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all went on to do stuff. Be in movies and other stuff, so.
I love Matthew Perry and the whole 9 yards, the whole 10 yards.
I love that show, yeah.
Great movies.
What's the one that he's in with the Latina actor?
They get married, or they get pregnant.
Yeah, and they have to get married and has to deal with her family. That's a good movie,
9 months. I can't remember.
Last 9 months?
I don't remember.
All right.
I remember seeing it, though.
My number 2 is Roseanne. The all-American classic tale of
the original blue collar
poverty, domestic abuse, growing up, under a certain line.
Roseanne was a wild card back in the day.
Takes place in Illinois, but this is a dual, very low-income working family.
Yeah.
Between John Goodman and Roseanne. Yep. And you got your cast of strays who are coming in and out of the house, staying at the house, trying to raise 3 kids.
Darlene, who's Darlene? Was the daughter?
A mix of the comedic value of real arguments, and this is touches on real life. This is not glamorous,
not fluffy.
Yeah, this isn't the fluffy tale of everything's peaches and cream.
Yeah,
this is everything. What's hit the fan.
This is the gritty. It was hilarious, but you're right. There's a lot of episodes that were pretty intense episodes.
Oh yeah, yeah. This one taught a lot of life lessons as well. But I love that this is like family arguments, but having the comedic value in it.
I think most Americans could relate to that show because most America is just working class America, especially when this came out. So I think it really touched home with a lot of people.
Then they tried to bring it back.
They did bring it back,
I think Roseanne said some stuff and got canceled.
Well, they went on. They did the show without her, but they killed her off after a few episodes of the new.
Interesting fact: Macaulay Culkin actually auditioned to be DJ in this show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was too soft.
He didn't need the role. Ah, yeah, that's a good one. I actually forgot about that one, but all right.
My number one, Brad already said it. I had Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I absolutely loved the show.
Great show.
I still will watch it when it's on TV. Trying to introduce it to my kids. I thought the premise of this show was just brilliant. This kid who comes from a troubled neighborhood, he's getting in trouble, he's getting in fights. Mom sends him out to Bel Air, and it's might as well have been like moving to a different continent.
Oh yeah,
he gets out there and
he moves into a mansion.
Immediately meets Jeffrey, the butler, and has a great relationship with all three of the kids in different ways. I found out this was based on music producer Benny Medina's real life. That's where they got the idea for this. Also, even though it was like a fun, funny show, there were some heavier elements to it, and there's some really good acting in this show. Uncle Phil is awesome in this show.
Yeah,
great.
His facial expressions, his tone, and then you have the iconic scene that we talked about a few weeks ago with the Father's Day episode where Will is like coming to grips with the fact that his dad's not a big part of his life. I thought The Fresh Prince was just, it's so great how Will's like hip hop influence starts to bleed in with some of the kids, and it just drives like Uncle Phil crazy. And we also have the Carlton dance. I mean, Carlton is so good in this. Yeah. Yeah,
and Will's one-liners are unmatched in that show. Just hilarious.
And launched an incredible acting career. I mean, Will Smith, awesome actor. He's been in some awesome movies, all different types.
Just watched Independence Day a couple weeks ago with him.
It's classic.
All right, well, my number one, I guess your number one as well. Boom, Seinfeld. I know we've talked about this before.
About nothing.
Exactly. It works. Just a classic show. The characters are all perfect. George Costanza is just, he's one of my favorite characters ever in like a TV show.
Brilliant in this
just
show.
Amazing. And George Costanza is supposed to be Larry David. That's how Larry David is. Just kind of a wacko in real life.
He had this rule, is the no hugging, no learning rule.
Yeah.
So he didn't want any of the characters to show emotion, like to grow emotionally, to show any kind of like warmth or genuine responses. He just wanted deadpan, like cynical comedy.
Well, we see in the final episode, you start realizing after watching this in the final episode when they get arrested and have to go to court, you realize, oh, wait, these aren't good people. They're all a-holes, and they bring back every character on the show, and everyone hates all of them, and you realize, okay, so that's why this show, they just made them all, act like that. But
Larry David's working on something new too on HBO, the Life of Larry or something like that. But he's going to play historical characters throughout history. It looks great.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, Larry David and Seinfeld writing this show just...
Life, Liberty, and Larry, I think it is.
That's great. Yeah, well, Curb Your Enthusiasm with him is amazing.
So I've got to say, I'm really surprised. There is a show that I thought for sure was going to make this list that didn't. I can't believe Martin didn't make this list.
Yeah, I had Martin on my honorable mention.
Martin, I love the show, Martin. It easily could have been up there.
I've got to mention another one that I put in. Brad watched it with me quite a bit. I put in hours on the show because it always seemed to be on TV when I got home from school, like on a rainy day. The show Wings on USA about the two brothers.
That's such an underrated show.
It was such a great
Tony
TV
Shalhoub,
show. Yeah.
That's where he kind of got his start.
The two brothers who owned like a one-plane
it was a little private airport, yeah.
And they're about as opposite as they could be from each other.
I always wanted one of those leather jackets and the wing pin.
You had Lowell, the mechanic. It was such, and then you had the guy from the other airline who was always kind of like a prick.
Yeah.
But this show, I watched probably more than any of these other shows when I was that age.
Yeah, this was on all the time. You're right. I watched it a ton. But yeah, the mechanic, well, he was so funny. He went on. That guy is a great actor. He went on to be in a lot of really good movies.
Yeah.
By the way, but that's a completely underrated show.
Third Rock from the Sun.
That's a good one.
And also Married with Children.
Yeah, and
that was tough to keep off.
And you had the TGIF shows.
A lot of reverse life lessons.
I didn't want to go too much into TGIF because we did a whole
Family
episode.
Matters, Home Improvement, Step by Step. A lot of those we had already talked about. But
and like I said, these are still on, so you could probably catch them on TV or streaming.
Here's what I think is like the difference between some of, it's not better or worse, it's just different. Like there are obviously been some great TV shows over the course of the last however many years, right? You have like Ozark, you have Breaking Bad, you have all these different shows. Most people can't relate to those shows. These were all shows that were super relatable. Like Brad said, they were focused or centered around the family, or even if it was like a mixed family. Shows nowadays tend to be more written out like movies where you have to watch from start to finish. There's a lot of characters.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with them.
So it's a very different style of TV making.
I got a trivia one for you. This show only aired 12 out of 18 of the first season episodes and then went off.
Okay.
All right, this is towards the end of the 90s. But listen to this star-studded lineup and then see if you could tell me the show. James Franco, Jason Segel, Busy Phillips, and Seth Rogen.
Oh,
and it's another show about
Freaks. Is that Freaks and Geeks?
Freaks and Geeks.
That was a hilarious.
And it's another show about like navigating high school.
I think Jonah Hill was in there. The whole Judd Apatow, I think, created the show. So that's where the Judd Apatow movies, they all got their start. He started doing movies and took all those guys with him. But yeah, that's a good call. All right.
Nice.
All right, well,
we got to talk about real quick. I didn't write it up there, but you got to let the good people know what's coming next week.
Yeah. So you're going to want to tune in next week. We're going to do another one of our trivia games.
Where Jimmy seems to have really found his calling in life.
Thank God I'll be hosting this.
Brad will be hosting, but this will be MLB Juiced Trivia.
The Griffey game got us really thinking about this.
Exactly, and this is going to be trivia from the steroid era in baseball.
Some of these questions may involve like
medical questions.
Was the amount of roids this player was taking enough to kill a horse?
I'm just going to go out on a limb.
False?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say one of the answers is probably going to be Brady Anderson.
Yeah, I mean, the steroid era in MLB was a wild, fun time, and I wish they bring it back. We've said it before. Bring it back. All right, well, appreciate you guys watching. Tune in next time, and we'll catch you later.